So hi everyone, myself Prithvi. So welcome you all for the DevOps series. So in this video, we shall write some ML script actually. So and we shall try about how it's going to work. If there is any problem while writing a YAML script for to implement and push, build the Docker image and push to the Docker Hub. If there is any problem, we shall fix that issue and we shall end this video. So in the last video we completed with the Ansible server installation. Now we shall do with pushing the Docker image and to the Docker Hub with Ansible playbook. So let's start with that. So this is the Ubuntu server. Uh, Search for the Ansible is installed and Python is installed. Next thing which we want to do is that we want to go to the etc directory. Let's first, what we can able to do is first set the password. Uh, Set the password for the Ansible admin actually. Ansible admin. The shell script which created the Ansible admin user, right? We have to set a password for the Ansible user so that which we can able to use this user for the Jenkins job actually. So Control L. The next thing which we want to do is that we want to create the scripts. We want to create the ML playbook. So go for cd etc Ansible. So there are some three files are there. So Ansible config and host and roles. So in the host files, let me see what is there in the host files. So this is the default page which we want to get. So actually we want to get rid of this. So what we can able to do is that I'm going to install some IP actually, echo hyphen e. So I'm going to write some group name localhost to that file. So now let us see the host file. So the localhost is there. So in the localhost group, what I am going to do is that I will just add the local host, the loopback address 127.0.0.1. So this is the loopback address. Control X. So now the host file setup is been done. The next thing which we want to do is that uh, we want to build a YAML file for the Docker actually. So what we can able to do is that we shall write some playbook here itself. Uh, Before that, let's verify something like whether the ping command is working properly for the Ansible host or not. So this is the add of commands. The first time it is going to ask. So this is an issue. Whenever you are trying to SSH, right? It is giving that permission denied. So we shall address this problem actually. Uh, Whenever we SSH, it's not going to work. It's not working for the local host. So in the ansible.host file, ansible dot in the Ansible config, here we have to do some changes like defaults. So we have to write host key checking host key checking is false. So what it is going to do is that whenever any kind of a uh, problem occurs, right, what we can able to do is that whenever first time when the SSH into the any kind of a new host, it's going to ask this fingerprint. So whether you want to execute or whether you want to SSH into that. So that's the reason for to avoid that. So we are giving host key checking false in ansible.config. Now let's again check that. So now we get rid out of this issue. So next issue, which it is unreachable, it is throwing an error like permission denied. So for this what we can able to do is that, so vi sudo, so we have to edit this file. We don't want it to ask password actually for to log in, for as we did for the docker admin, right? Similarly we have to do it for the ansible admin. Copy this, shift insert, and replace it with the docker admin with ansible admin, control x y. So ls. So now let's again try with pinging. So still it has not taken into an effect. We shall log in as an Ansible admin. So now we have logged in as an Ansible admin. So now let us try this command. So still permission denied, public key and password. It is unreachable. So what might be the problem? So the Ansible admin at, let us try SSHing it so that it will be easy for us to debug the issue and the manual way. Dot one. So it is asking for the password actually. Yes, it is asking for the password. So what we can able to do is that we have to do some changes like the username and password which should be written into that file actually. Let me check the ID, the permissions, which are all the group it is present. So it is present in Ansible admin and sudo group. So the one thing which we want to do is that we want this Ansible admin user should be added to the Docker group also. Docker Ansible admin. So, so it's worked. Next, the thing which we want to do is that, let me clear the screen. Nano. So etc Ansible. So next host. So let me edit this file. So we have to log in as a sudo. So here we have to provide the username and password actually. So because we want to execute the commands, if you want to execute the commands, we required to provide the username and password here. So The username is Ansible underscore user is equal to Ansible admin. Next is Ansible SSH pass. So we have to provide the password here. So I'm not disclosing the password. Control X. So I will enter the password there itself. Ansible all minus m ping. It should work. So see, now we could able to ping actually. So now it is working. So what does it tells is that so the Ansible host we have done a setup the Ansible admin and we could able to execute and it's working fine. So next thing is that we have to write an YAML file, right? So just uh, go for the Ansible file ls. You can create one file here like docker.yaml. So this is the playbook which we are so we required a sudo privileges actually. So this is the playbook which we are writing. First is 3 dash. It's going to reference what it's going to do is that it's going to reference. So this is the new configuration where it is starting. So next hyphen, the indentation is very much important when you are executing when you are writing the YAML file. So the host is the group local host. So this is the group actually. Next become, we want to run this script as a root. Become true means we are running this script with the root privileges. It want we want it to become a root actually. So the task is the name of the task is we want to log in actually into the Docker Hub account. Login into login into the Docker Hub account. So this is the Ansible modules which I'm using. Community Docker hyphen Docker underscore login. So this is the uh, module which I am using in the Docker. So community dot docker underscore login. So in this module, uh, so this indentation is very much important. Username. So you provide your username. So presently I'm leaving it as default because I will provide the username once after I log in. So next is the password. So if you want to play around with this YAML file, what you can able to do is that you search for uh, you search for uh, modules for Docker in Ansible. So this one to take you to this directory. So the community.docker.docker container. So you're going to have a lot of pre-written modules so that you can able to use those modules for your use cases actually. Now we are let me no, it is loading the still the loading has been happening. uh, So this is an official website of Ansible. So here where it is shown is that you can able to list the Ansible Galaxy collection list. In that where you can able to install the community Docker. If you don't have a community.docker installed, so it's going to throw an error. So you let's check once after we run the script. If we try, if you getting any kind of a problem, we shall run this command to install the community.docker module to install. So you can use this actually this is the model name community.docker. Container. So we are using a login, actually login module. So the sample files, if you come down, so this is the sample file actually. So here create a container, actually name of the container, the image which is using, and if you want to load a volume, you can load the volumes. This is mostly used in this Kubernetes kind of an environment. If you want to run a Redis container, so this is the actual Ansible modules, Ansible playbook thing which you can able to execute. So this is the restarting a container. So all these modules are pre-written where you can able to use this for to stopping of the container or removing the container, and this is for the removing the container. So this is for the restarting the container. This is for to check the container is present or not. So all these things is present here. So we are writing the script actually. Let me go to the Ubuntu actually. uh, Once after this, so the next thing which we want to do is that hyphen. So the next task which we are assigning is stop if we have any old docker container. If we have any old docker container is running, so we want to delete those actually. So because whenever we want to create the similar kind of a container, it's going to throw an error, means Ansible playbook. So in this we are running the command module. So command module docker stop. So next the container name. So this is the container name which we are using actually. If you are using your custom name, you can able to replace this my first app with your own container name. And the important thing, ignore errors. This is one of the important things when you are writing your script. Means so what does this ignore errors is going to do is that uh, so whenever if it is going to execute this command docker stop my first app, this is the container name. If it is going to, if it want to stop this container, there should be a container should be present. If the container is not present, it's going to throw an error. If the error is occurred, so it's not going to execute the all the things which is there in the Ansible file. So to do that, we are ignoring the errors. If we ignore the errors, so this is going to ignore the errors. What is going to happen in this step? So the next task which we're gonna give is that we want to remove it. So once after we stop the container, remove the stopped container. So the command to remove it is docker rm. So this is the command for removing it. Next, ignore errors is equal to yes. So the next task which we are giving is name, building the Docker image. So either you can use the Docker modules or you can use uh, the command module. So the preferable method is using the Docker modules, the Ansible modules actually. The commands, the command to build is Docker build. So the tag which we are giving app -v1 colon v1. So in the current directory, so this one of the very important thing, where you want to execute the command. So it is going to take the same path to take the Docker file. So next is, so where we want to use the file change directory home.ansible admin. So this is one of the very important thing. So when you are building it, to pointing out where the Docker file is located. uh, the next thing is, so the Docker file will be located at home underscore Ansible admin. When we execute a Jenkins job, so it is going to deploy a Docker file and a war file uh, in this path itself. So the next task is, once after the build is completed, uh, we want to run the container. So for the initial purpose, we want to run the container actually, to check whether everything is working or not. Next part is that we want to push it to the Docker hub. After that, we shall push it to the Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the next, is a lengthy video, creating the Docker container. So the command which is being given for is Docker run in the daemon mode. So name first app and the port number 80 80 colon 8080. So next, the image which we are specifying. So the image name this and this should match, otherwise it will not going to work actually. The next task is, once after the Docker container is created and up and running, so we want to push it to the Docker hub, right? So first, before pushing it, we want to tag the image, tag the created Docker image actually. Uh, so the command is Docker tag app colon v1. Next, your username. So repeat DevOps. So the, and the repository name colon app v1. So this is the image which we are giving, image name. Once after this, so the next task which we are assigning is pushing that image. push the tagged image. So to push that docker push so spelling mistake. So the image which you created, right, this is the same, it should be the same actually. What we can able to do is that we can shall copy it, so to avoid the syntax error, so we shall paste that actually. So we are using the same image. uh, so this is all about this playbook. So control X. Yes. So don't worry guys, I will publish this docker.aml in the readme file so that it will be useful. So next, the command which you want to perform is that Ansible playbook etc Ansible and the playbook name. So to check without any error, so let's do it syntax check. So it should work fine. So if this is working fine, so next we can go for. So this is working fine. The important thing which we want to do is that we want to add the username and password. So once after we do the username and password, I shall resume the video. So I just added the username and password actually. So to work it smooth, to make the work smoother when we are executing this playbook. So remove this check actually. Now enter. So we should be able to run the script perfectly fine without any kind of an issue. So this is fine. So since there is an old container, it has worked. We have removed the container. So while building the container, we got into some problem actually. Uh, what is the problem? So war.lib.mount. So this is the file. Failed to read a Docker file. So failed to read a Docker file. So what has happened? We don't have a Docker file itself here. So that's the reason we why how it is going to read the Docker file. So we require a Docker file here. So then only it could able to read it, right? Uh, cd ls. So we have a Docker admin. So here where the file is there, that file is this is the Docker file where we want to copy it. So copy Docker file to the path home Ansible admin to a path. So let's go and see where is there any file is present actually over there. So see, now we have a Docker file. The important thing is that we require a war file also. Uh, because since we don't have a var file in this repository, we couldn't able to use it. So again, go for copy home docker and web app. So copy this to Ansible admin. Uh, now let's again check. We have a docker file, we have a web app file. So this is the time where we want to execute our playbook now. So this solves the most of the problem. Now execute this playbook. It should work perfectly fine without any kind of an issue. So it is checking for any kind of a old container. So since we don't have a container, it is failed. So it is an expected issue. So removing the stopped container means we don't have a stopped container. It is this is expected. It's going to fail. So building the Docker image. So change it means the Docker image got built. So next, creating a Docker container, creating a Docker image, and push to the Docker container. So the important thing where you can able to observe is that 18 minutes ago it has got pushed. So this is the present status. Now let us refresh it. Now it should be showing the status that it should be pushed before few seconds of few minutes. So see here, 3 minutes ago it has got pushed actually. This is the LT sign so that it is pushed 3 minutes ago. So this is all about this video, guys. So this video has become lengthy, I think. So we have written a YAML file for the playbook for deploying, creating a container, and creating an image, running a Docker container. So we can able to Docker PS. We can able to do permission denied. Yes. See, the Docker is up and running. Container is up and running. You can able to access it with the browser with the port 8080. It will go to definitely gonna work. So next in the Docker image. So in the Docker images, so still required a sudo permission. So now it is been working. So sudo permissions has been given, and you can able to see this is the app and this is the tagged image which is being pushed to the Docker container hub. So seems like everything is fine. In the next video, we shall concentrate about how to integrate the Ansible with the Jenkins, and we could able to do this task with automated fashion. So thank you all guys. Thank you very much.